I keep seeing people bring up the Donald Trump connection, and that's why they're going after Ryan Garcia. Has a single one of you ever stopped to think that maybe, just maybe, that was the plan all along? As Paulie Malignaggi said, it's kinda easy to get away with using PEDs nowadays, and you kinda have to use them like a pig in order to get caught, the way Ryan did. And so if I'm Ryan Garcia, and I use these PEDs with no disregard, I would be stressing out, counting the days of when those results are going to come in. And being such a big believer in conspiracy theories, I would also be trying to craft my own conspiracy theory, knowing just how easy it is to lead most of you sheep across social media. You guys will fall for anything. And so there he goes. It's like he's hooking up with every celebrity under the sun. It's almost like it's his last day on earth to live, from Coach Prime to Donald Trump. In my view, increasing the likelihood of you creating a conspiracy theory. Oh, he was seen with so-and-so. That's why they're coming after him. And I just think the timing of him endorsing Donald Trump is suspect. There is no one person that's more polarizing than him. He knew you wouldn't be able to resist blaming his endorsement for Trump for him popping dirty not just once, but twice. And the crazy thing is, he has been laying down the conspiracy foundation for a little while now. All of that Illuminati, Bohemian Grove stuff doesn't seem so out of left field now anymore, does it? It was almost like he was grooming his fans. Well, that's a poor way to put it. Conditioning his fans for the final act, which is, of course, Donald Trump. It's because he was seen with Donald Trump that they're coming after him. By the way, how many times has he been seen with Donald Trump before this? A dozen? 2 dozen? 0? I'm not sure, but I know one thing. A lot of his fans were taken aback by this, him being a, quote, right-winger. Not to mention one of his first appearances was on the Patrick Bet David podcast, which is notoriously right-wing. I feel it's kind of obvious what's going on, but maybe I'm the one that's nuts. Oh, and by the way, you know the supplement that Ryan Garcia blamed for him pissing a dirty urine? That company has since come forward and dispelled it as being total nonsense. But let's just stop here, okay? We can go a little bit deeper, but let's just stop here because I don't want to look like I'm reaching or I'm trying to build this case up against Ryan Garcia, because I'm really not. I wanted him to win. I bet on him to win. I lost the bet because I bet on a knockout, and Harvey Doc fucked me on that one. But regardless, let's just use a tiny bit of critical thinking, not much. In order for Ryan Garcia to be telling the truth at this point, that would mean the drug testing company is in on it. That would mean the commission is in on it. That would also mean the supplement company that he was praising about not too long ago is also in on it. You would sooner believe that than he actually took the PEDs. Anytime somebody is using performance-enhancing drugs in combat sports and they get caught, we should be disowning them. I know a lot of you kiddos don't give a shit. You came over with Jake Paul. It's all ha ha he he. A lot of you are here to idolize and worship Garcia more so than the sport. I get all that. And it's okay. It's your right to do that. But the reality is, boxing is a serious motherfucker. And just speaking for myself, there's no worse feeling seeing a guy get hurt in the ring for our entertainment. And even though it's the hurt business, that's what you're trying to do when you get in the ring, is hurt the other guy. But once you start taking those enhancers, you get one step closer to killing the guy, ending the guy, giving that guy brain damage. That's why these substances are banned, to minimize any excessive risk of the fighter getting injured. How many times Haney got hit? If he looked outclassed, his defense looked suspect that night. All of that is besides the point when someone pisses dirty. It's like you're going around gathering as much shit as you possibly can to justify Ryan Garcia using those PEDs. Well, Haney would have lost anyway. So you're not even going to consider for one moment those enhancers enhancing his abilities in that ring, where every single punch feels like it's doing damage? Because that's the common theme when you look at guys using PEDs. Every punch they throw seems to hurt the other guy, no matter where they throw it from or how hard they're throwing it. And that's what seemed to happen on that night. And I don't like repeating myself, but in my last video I talked about how Tyson said when you have a plan, you get punched in the face, your plan basically goes out the window. You can multiply that by 100 times when you're enhancing those punches with PEDs. If you really believe they don't have a profound effect, yet these fighters are going to risk their entire careers taking them, I have a bridge to sell you. We all know boxing is corrupt as shit. It doesn't give a shit about the fighters, it only cares about the money. It's a sport that goes out of its way to protect the cash cows and lets them play by a different set of rules. As we've seen with the likes of Canelo Alvarez, his dirty urine being minimized, or it must have been Mexican meat he didn't know, a slap on the wrist, and he gets to come back and just pick and choose whatever mandatory he decides to fight. And then, of course, he's more than likely still using the PEDs, just being more careful about it, because usually when you stop taking the PEDs, the fighter's career is ruined. Almost always they are a shell of their former self. They are never able to replace that newfound confidence that was given to them by the PEDs. And so most of the time, it's not that these fighters stop using them, they're just more careful, they're just more efficient. They're just better at microdosing or masking it. They bring in experts like Victor Conte, for example. Just like Canelo with the meat, just like Conor Benn with the eggs or whatever the fuck it was. These fighters never know, by the way. And for the people saying, well, the supplements could have been tainted or he was using something else and he didn't know, that's what they say 99% of the time. I took it involuntarily. Or somebody spiked my water. And even though it might be technically possible, even though it's a slim chance, as a professional fighter, it is one of your jobs to make sure you're on top of that sort of thing. Make sure you're not drinking random water. If you're unsure whether or not a supplement is going to cause you to test positive for a PED, it's up to you not to take it. Even if it was an honest mistake, if they let it slide, then they're going to have to let all the bullshitters slide as well. What are they going to do? Start doing lie detector tests? These motherfuckers barely even want to pay for the drug test. But knowing what we do about boxing and what they'll do to protect the favorite or the cash cow, just makes no sense for them to set up Ryan Garcia when he's like the biggest draw in boxing right now. You think they're willing to do all of this and coordinate all of this just to protect Devin Haney's O? Ryan Garcia is a master of using social media to get you to believe exactly what he wants you to believe. And that's no shade on him. He essentially grew up with social media. He's huge on social media. He knows the inner workings of these platforms. And Tank Davis, why would Tank Davis lie? Has it not become blatantly obvious to you that Tank Davis has become Ryan Garcia's #1 groupie? It's almost like he's got a crush on the motherfucker.